Hello, good evening. I'm Earl Gibbs, and welcome to Speaking of Everything. With me this evening, I have none other than a very interesting lady. You've seen her before in the program, and it's Ms. Brooke. And you're now founder of a new foundation in St. Martin called Africa Caribbean Alliance.
Africa Caribbean Heritage Alliance,
Heritage
that's
Alliance.
correct.
Heritage. Why? Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here again with you. The Africa Caribbean Heritage Alliance is a foundation that was established last year. And the vision of it really derives from the need for us to revitalize our heritage as it relates to Africa, which is, where most of us came from and have descendancy. And with everything that is going on around the world, and Africa as an emerging world player, being the second largest continent in the world, we felt that there is a need for the Caribbean, and particularly starting with St. Martin, for us to find positive ways to reconnect with the continent. So the Heritage Alliance between the Caribbean and Africa is really to utilize the opportunities that exist for the two to work together.
And we also have Mr. Kantab. You're here, and you're a member of the foundation?
Yes, that's right.
All right. And how do you get involved?
The ACHA, the African Caribbean Heritage Alliance, was part of the XSM Do It. It was while going through the list of events to volunteer with, it was the only one that really spoke to me, and it's something that I truly believe in. Not to say that the other events weren't great. I mean, I do believe in them, just that this one is something I know I will be able to contribute in a longevity.
All right. Now, it's quite interesting, and the reason why it's interesting is that, in St. Martin and in many parts of the Caribbean, a lot of us as black people that originated from Africa seems to deny our connection to that continent. So that's why in the beginning I asked you about heritage, because a lot of people here let me go back very quickly. Back in the early 1980s, Mr. Lake Jr., I'm sure Mr. Kantab, you know him, had a newspaper, Windward Island Opinion. And St. Martin people, black people, got very angry when he had articles about Africa and South Africa and the liberation movement and the suffering of black people. So I don't know how you feel about that, especially Ms. Brooke, because you originally from West Africa, right?
Yes, I'm from Nigeria originally.
Okay. Are you surprised about what I just said?
I am not surprised by what you said at all, because when I came to the Caribbean, starting off in Curacao in 2010, the first time I came to St. Martin in March of 2010, I fell in love with the island. But that was from, the physical environment and talking to the people, the friendly nature of the people. But then when I started to spend more time here, I realized there were so many similarities between the food, the way the food is made. It's just like the way that I know it, like the chicken lokri rice, for example. We make it, we call it jollof rice. And we make it, with palm oil. But it's the same thing. So there are transformations in the food. There are transformations in the dance, in the music, in the way we carry ourselves. But it's just an evolving process.
And it came from. And you still deny it.
And that's the thing. When I came here, and my children were at school doing introductions of their families. And my daughter, proudly said, my mother is from Nigeria, and she's a very proud African. And the kids said, one of the kids responded, so your mother must be of slavery descendants. And my daughter said, no, my mother is not. My mother is from Africa. She's from Nigeria. And she never told me anything about that. So we had a conversation when she came back home that the kids in class think that her parents are from slavery times. So we had to go through the whole history of slavery and the fact that people from Africa were taken out of conditions of no such thing and put towards actually the process of enslavement, and but putting them through the process of enslavement does not take away from who they were before they were put into that condition. And so what I want us to look at now, and particularly the children, is not only about slavery, because all the kids tend to focus on now is that black people are people of slavery times, but it's not. And so it was a rude awakening for me. And you know, one of the things we talk about in my family is that we need to find ways to showcase the richer aspect of the continent, where they came from. You know, the fact that Africa is the birthplace of humanity. You know, we have all different kinds of people and such a rich heritage, and yet we deny ourselves the contact with that aspect of the continent.
Well, I think what happens too is, and the reason why your daughter experienced that and will continue to experience that, is that when I studied at the University of New York, Buffalo, I met a number of students from Africa, many of them from Nigeria, and they always say, look, we were never slaves. So they never had that whole idea of slavery, while people in the Americas, north to south, all the way down to South America, they're black people that were enslaved. So that the idea of people in the Americas, black people, are different than those that come from Africa, like you came from Nigeria. And the first time I experienced that was when I was going to the University in New York.
That's absolutely true. But what I find is that that the history has to look beyond what what was after, because I think a lot of people get caught up in that, and it prevents from dealing with all the other positive angles.
There's more than just slavery. That's just a part of
exactly
black people in the Americas.
Yes.
Yeah. So the foundation of the Caribbean Africa Heritage Alliance is to bring foster better understanding between people in the Caribbean and Africa.
That's correct. You will be surprised to know that a lot of people in Nigeria, let me start with Nigeria, which is my country, and I can say other African countries as well, they don't know very much about the history of the Caribbean people. And I think it needs to start with greater awareness of the conditions of both sides, and the fact that, okay, after all this decades of or centuries of our people being brought over here, and our people here being of a different situation now, at the end of the day, we are one people. They say blood is thicker than anything else, and so we need to make that reconnection. So the foundation, Africa Caribbean Heritage Alliance, hopes that we can pave the way for more sharing of knowledge, information. We can pave the way for more businesses to exchange between the continents. We can pave the way for students from here to have internships in African universities and vice versa. There are so many innovations that are going on, and the Caribbean is very famous for tourism promotion. That can be shared with our African countries, and people from there can also come here and experience the richness of what was started by the people that were brought here.
So let me ask, so Skandar, you ever been to Africa?
Not yet.
Not yet. So you plan to go soon?
Soon, yeah. It'll be a great experience.
So how you feel about being a part of this foundation?
Well, it's truly something which I believe in, and in my opinion, it starts with education. The fact that we are not truly educating in the way we are supposed to leads to the whole misconception and the negativity that you experience or hear about Africa.
I said in the island opinion, but it also was Newsday, and it was the paper was changed that Mr. Lake Jr. had as a Newsday. I find we as black people in the Caribbean, we're very ignorant and we deny a lot. Take, for example, the Dominican Republic. They have this country of black people and mixed people. And black people in the Dominican Republic, they will deny, they will kill you if you say they're African. I make jokes sometimes, right? I'm African. I was born in St. Martin, but I consider myself African heritage, But they will never think about that. So I hope that this foundation can really bring the region to a better understanding.
Well, currently, speaking on Dominican Republic, there's currently a conflict with them in Haiti.
Yeah.
It seems that it has been reported that several Haitians are being lynched, in Haiti. And that...
I mean in the Dominican Republic?
Yeah. I mean, sorry, in Santo Domingo, yes. And what's interesting is the fact that, Haiti being the first independent and free nation in the entire Western Hemisphere has been brought down systematically by outside forces, and even we here in the Caribbean, we also tend to bring them down as well.
Yeah. So, other part of the name of your foundation, Alliance, that's also a powerful word. You have heritage, you have alliance.
We're really, there is so much that can be done. And that is why one of the first things we set out to do is mobilize volunteers, because each of us has our talents, we have our networks, but if we really connect those, we can create a larger network that helps us to align our energies. And the intention here is really how can we create also a better image for Africa, that people of African descent can take pride in who they are as descendants of African heritage. So the alliance part is that wherever we are in the diaspora, that we can contribute to this. I was making a joke the other day that the Nigerians who are basketball players in the US or in Canada or in different European countries, when you hear the name, you know right away they're from Nigeria. But when they're introduced as Americans, or they're introduced as Canadians, or as Dutch. But if they run into a problem, then they become a Nigerian, or they become, an Ethiopian, like that. So when it is negative, you are, of an African descent. So we have to get away from that media hype that only focuses on the negative aspect. And the only way we can do that is through this alliance, where those of us that are out there and exposed and have the networks can actually work together.
I have to run to a quick break.
Yes.
Right? And you have a whole list of activity also.
Yes,
right?
We do. We would like to invite the community to come out and experience some of the things we have planned. The first one was, of course, participating in the SXM DOOT, National Volunteer Initiative, and we're doing that. We did that through the opening of the Africa Resource Center at the Phillipsburg Jubilee Library. This just took place on Saturday, but of course now it's for the public to come in and experience it and do some research through that. We're also conducting a contest on the role of people of African descent. And this contest is going out to the schools. So kids ages from 10 to 18 can write in through an art or essay a piece, or it could be a performing a skit. It could also be a visual art drawing, something that shows what they understand about the contributions of people of African descent. And from there, we want to be able to pick up some ideas that will help us to connect here and African countries. We're also going to be having movie nights where we will showcase movies that portray the history, the stories, the heritage of people of African descent. And so we want to encourage awareness raising and dialogue about the role.
You're going to show some those nice movies from Nigeria?
Yes, you know, they're very famous. So we're going to show them, and we're going to have a discourse around, you know, some of the things, because people ask me, is it true? What is happening in those movies? We're also going to have music and dance just to showcase where it all came from, because we talked to the young people here who are involved in Calypso and the Zouk music. And you know, that has its heritage back to West Africa, to Central Africa. That's the origin. But the young people don't know that.
I found that out at the University of New York at Buffalo. I was surprised. A professor who was giving musics of the world pointed that out. We thought it was Caribbean. It's not a Caribbean, it's Africa.
Yeah. I was telling the kid yesterday, King Verse, and some of the other artists we were talking to, that actually he just come up with Jombi, the new one, Jombi. And I told him, you know, actually that has its history to music of Fela Kuti from Lagos. There's a whole village dedicated to, you know, the music of late Fela Kuti. And now his son, Femi Kuti, is continuing that history. But they don't know about it. And I say, we have to go back to Nigeria. Let's jam together. So we have a whole bunch of things planned for this year. We hope that people will come out. And we're also going to be bringing some bands to perform here for us. I would like people to remember that the alliance for us starts with Nigeria from West Africa, St. Martin, right here in the Caribbean. So I am the founder. I'm from Nigeria. We have our secretary, Veronica Jansen-Webster, who is right from here. And we have Ife Badeja, Ife Lola Badeja, who is a true, you know, mixture of Caribbean and Nigeria. So she's from the islands, but she's also from Nigeria. So that's the board. And we're increasing our network with young people like Ralph, for example, who are going to help us really reach out to a wide audience. So we would like people to come out to the library, the Africa Resource Center, or to contact us through our Facebook page, Africa Caribbean Heritage Alliance, or visit our website, www.afrocaribbeanalliance.org. But of course, they can also phone us on 520-7286 for myself, and Ralph, of course, is always available to take any question.
I know it's just amazing, because I hope that this will work, because we as Black people from the Caribbean, I think we're missing out on so much because of ignorance and not really realizing. Sometimes don't want to acknowledge that Africa is where we came from.
That's absolutely right. I think if we go back to the basis of how do you want to interact with people as individuals, regardless of where they come from, but particularly for us, knowing that we have so much in common that we can share. That's the basis for our work. This year is very important because the United Nations, through its latest resolution, has designated 2015 as the year of the people of African descent. So we're looking at peace, justice, and development. And it's a whole 10-year period. So we're starting now, but for the next 10 years, we're going to be hearing everything about people of African descent. So it's so timely that we have this foundation started here in St. Martin as the hub for the region, that we can actually be well prepared to participate and tap into the opportunities that will be offered through the United Nations decade of people of African descent.
So there's a lot of things in store.
Yes.
I got to go to a quick break again. I got all these breaks coming up. Then we're going to come back and wrap up the show. Right back, please do this.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Well, you're watching Speaking of Everything. I'm Earl Gibbs. I'm here speaking with Mr. Kantav and Sproke from the Africa Caribbean Heritage Alliance. And it's just, I'm happy that you all were able to really get this foundation off the ground. And I hope that people will get involved. Now, can someone become a member if they want to help? Is that possible?
Yes, we are definitely going to be needing a lot of help because, as you mentioned already, it's a big thing we've started, but we believe that with more people in the network, we can definitely make it happen. So if you would like to volunteer with us or you would like to be involved in our activities, please sign up on, again, our Facebook page. Send us a message through our Facebook page, and then we will have you on the mailing list to invite you to our event. And the Facebook page is Africa Caribbean Heritage Alliance. Also, our website is going to be up and running very soon, and it is www.afrocaribbeanalliance.org.
Now, can I suggest something?
Yes, please.
I would like if you can organize a trip to Africa.
Absolutely, we have to go to Nigeria as a start. If not this year, next year. So please put that in your calendar.
I think that'll be really nice. I've never been to Africa. I want to go.
You've never been? Oh, we gotta go.
I think that'll be nice. Everybody can start to save from now and get a whole plane load of people go.
Absolutely. And the beautiful part of that, somebody who had a lot of money some years ago actually chartered a plane, and they flew from St. Martin to Dakar in Senegal, West Africa, in 5 hours. Direct flight.
Are we closer than Europe?
Yeah. If we could go there and maybe negotiate some kind of charter flight package with the Nigerian government, a lot of people can be going back and forth. Right. So that is definitely in our vision, and we look forward to joining us on our trip.
Oh, definitely. And what about you? You going to?
Oh, I'm definitely fine.
Well, I think it's just something good. I hope that you can achieve that. But again, you're going to have a lot of cultural events taking place, right?
Yes, cultural, but economic as well.
Yeah.
We want to have a symposium where we bring businesses, entrepreneurs from different islands, from different African countries here as well.
Okay, let me have Mr. Kantav add something quick, and then we'll come back, wrap it up. Mr. Kantav,
well,
you want to add in closing?
In closing, I would just like to invite people to come out to the library where we launched the African Resource Center. Come out and learn, because our history is truly rich, and we are more than just descendants of slaves.
Okay, and all the information is there.
That's right.
All right, and Sproke?
Yes, please visit our website, send us an email, or give us a call, and come and participate in all of the activities we've organized for you. Thank you.
I want to thank you all. I want to wish you all much success with the foundation, all right?
Yes.
And we can have you all sometime back on the live show. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Sproke.
Thank you.
And also Mr. Kantav.
All right, thank you.
I'll see you next time right here on Speaking of Everything. Until then, good night. Take care. Bye.